If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. Yeah! There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So come on down and get you Anchor. Yeah! Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Today is November 13th, and it is a Wednesday. And today, Kevin Lane enters the podcast studio to record episode number 74. Today, we bring to you episode 74 of The Backlog, a podcast where we discuss gaming, podcast events, new releases, recaps of current events, backlogs, game reviews, and coming soons. Today, we ask you to share and talk about our podcast, to let friends know of the podcast and what it could be to them. Yes, today, Kevin asks for your help in bringing this podcast to the masses. And with that, I give to you, Kevin, the podcast host, who has been through 73 other episodes, and today marks number 74 of The Backlog, with your host, Kevin.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode number 74 of The Backlog. Thank you very much for that intro, and we are going to get started real fast here. Wanted to let you know real quick, for those of you looking for headphones, as you probably know already, we got Team Emar, my podcast partner Joe. He does have a coupon code for 20% off of Lucid Sound headphones. Team Emar is the code. That's TEAMEMAR. You can get that link from the bottom of our website at thebacklogpod.com. And just scroll on down to the bottom and you'll be able to click a link, bring you right there to Lucid Sound. I'm not a liar when I say I really love my LS41s. Had a little bit of an issue with the charging port, but it ended up being more of an issue with the cable itself than the headphones. The headphones are phenomenal. So, yeah, I do recommend it. And if you want to help out the podcast, help out Joe, definitely use that coupon code TEAMEMAR again for 20% off. So welcome everybody to The Backlog. We are in and out, with these episodes. I definitely, every week I want to tell you, I plan on making it more often and sometimes 2 a week and this and that, and then I go 2 weeks without doing an episode. But, we're busy. We got a lot going on in real world. Real world is definitely more important. And, I know you can get your news and your fill everywhere else. Ours is just one of the many avenues in which you can get your information, so I know I'm not critical in your lives. I also don't get a whole lot of feedback, so if you want to make me happy, you want to make me smile, all you got to do, mention us in a tweet or, at Backlog Time in either Instagram or Twitter. Say hello. You can email us directly at thebacklogpod.com. Up top, there's a contact us, or you can just send an email to thebacklogexposed@gmail.com. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to get a hold of us, and if you want to make me smile a little bit, feel free to give us some feedback or some topic ideas. We love all that. As you probably know, you can catch us on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/backlogtime, and and Team Emar Gaming, twitch.tv/Team Emar Gaming. Joe is not here this week. I'm kind of running this podcast quickly so that we can get some reviews out, get some information out before I go to DreamHack this weekend. What is DreamHack? Well, DreamHack is one of the yearly events. Actually, they have a bunch of them every year in different locations. And it's been going on. This is a 25th anniversary of DreamHack. And the one I'm going to is in Atlanta. There's going to be some gaming tournaments. There's going to be some gaming, at any convention, they have the expo area where companies can, shell out their best products and things like that, and teach the viewers and the attendees some cool things. But I'm going to be going as press. You see, here at the Backlog, we've been pushing really, really hard, although we haven't had a ton of new episodes over the last couple of months. Been pushing really hard to revamp what it means to be a member of the Backlog Network. And I am pushing real, real hard to expand our review program, as well as definitely going to try, can't promise, but going to try to do more regular and more often podcasts, highlighting games and talking about some of the, upcoming releases and things like that, and potentially getting in people who, know more about that genre than I of some of these bigger releases. So that's definitely a goal of mine. Hold me to it by reaching out and letting me know what you think of that. And so DreamHack, yeah, on Friday, the 15th, I'll be going down to, or up to Atlanta, staying with our good friend Jerry, who's been on the show a couple times. And shout out to Jerry, do appreciate all the different times. We're going to try to get him on the show for next week, talking about DreamHack and, what we experienced there. He's bringing his boy down for a day. I will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're in the area in DreamHack and you want to reach out, definitely hit me up in one of the many different ways you can get a hold of me. And I'd love to say hi. Some other things. Been working on 2 different shows that I'm going to try to produce for Twitch. And it's a lot more work just to get going when you have a full-time job and other things, gaming, all this stuff you're trying to get a hold of. But I got 2 great people that I'm working with, actually 3. The first is going to be my cousin Buddy, real name Earl. And for those of you who know me well, my middle name is Earl, and so we're both named after the same person, which is his father. And so we're going to be doing a TV show together. We're going to try to do it. It's going to evolve, but our vision, the first aspect of it, is going to be more like a talk show where we're going to have impromptu topics to talk about. And hopefully we'll be able to bullshit our way into making you believe that what we're saying is true. But we're also going to attempt to bring in you, the viewer, try to get you on the show to help us bullshit the story. Eventually, if this thing seems to take off, we're going to try to do some giveaways and things for people who know how to bullshit better than us, people who can convince us that they do or do not know the topic, or, that they do even if they don't know the topic. And hopefully it'll be entertaining and amusing for the viewers. If it's not, we'll adjust and appropriate this thing the way we need to, but we're going to get started with an idea like that. Impromptu with Kevin, Earl, and Earl will premiere sometime later this year, hopefully by the end of November, but more like December. And we'll do some trial runs before we release the full schedule in 2020, starting in January. Buddy and I are totally super excited about this, and stay tuned. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter for more information there. You can follow at Backlog Time for all the information you need there. And then it leads us to the bath. Come have a bath with Alpha and Jimmy T. Babyface and the Heel, otherwise known as Bath, is going to be a weekly wrestling recap show, where Alpha, for those of you who aren't familiar with Alpha, he is a phenomenal talent on Twitch. You can go to twitch.tv/World Winning Federation. Alpha, as he brands himself, is a one-eyed champion of the Apex Legends game. He is amazing. I don't know if he's truly a champion. I don't think so. I think he just gets that title every time he wins, and he wins quite a bit. But he truly only has one eye, and he can't fly, and that he testifies. But yeah, Alpha is a great dude. We are going to be pairing him up with Jimmy T. Jimmy T, otherwise known as Jimmy Thompson, is an Achilles heel to Alpha. He's been nagging him online, messing with him quite a bit. They have quite different characters and personas about them, and it's going to be an interesting show where they both talk about wrestling, primarily AEW, this new federation that's kind of popping up and popping off. It's a phenomenal new wrestling TV show and brand, much more similar to the Attitude Era, which is what I remember growing up and enjoying a lot more than the current brand of wrestling. But I still have to tip my hat to my boy Todd, who is still tag team champions with Ray, the Viking Raiders. And to me, they bring back that old school era of wrestling that I always loved. And so it makes me proud to know that the guy I always tout and say, oh, that's my friend, I know him, that he's actually bringing the type of wrestling that I like to see, which is either good stories or good wrestling or funny stuff. And Todd brings the good wrestling and he brings the good story. You know, they're a tag team that's been together for quite some time. They fought each other to join forces. And they both, you know, in Ring of Honor, both won a tournament or made it to the finals of a tournament. One ended up besting the other. They became a team, and they wreaked havoc all across the world. For real, they are the undisputed champions in multiple tag teams, multiple organizations. So anyways, all that being said, more on the wrestling. If you recall, Adam came, my DJ friend, knows all about music. We talked with him a couple months ago. Adam and I are going to be going to WrestleMania in March down in Tampa. I definitely look forward to it, and I've been calling it for a long time. I definitely plan on seeing Todd and Ray coming out of that boat that currently is a pirate ship, but I have a feeling it's going to be a Viking ship. And I want to see the Viking Raiders come, you know, their entrance come from that ship. I'm super excited about it. Cross my fingers and let's see how it goes. All right.
Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast?
Yeah!
When we were getting started, we jumped at the first service we could. It was a nightmare. That is until we found Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast.
A little bit of something.
Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. We switched to Anchor after using that other podcasting tool, and we were truly impressed with the quality of service and support that we received right out of the gate. It's been a stable and efficient platform for us, and we haven't looked back once. So if you want to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join Joe and
I'm Joe.
And everyone else already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. Once you get started, send us a message. We'd love to hear your podcast too.
All right, we're going to jump right into our next segment. We're going to talk about new releases. These are games that have come out over the last month or two. We might have talked about them in the past on the show. Hopefully, if we have, now this is a way to come back and say, hey, where did it land? You know, how did it go? I'm going to talk using the Metacritic review scores. I know we've talked in the past about that not always being the best way to review or to look at a game review, but in looking at each of these games, doing some due diligence and reading, I think that this sums up quite an interesting look when you take a look at the Metacritic scores as well as the user scores on each of these games. The first one we're going to talk about is Death Stranding. This was a big game. Kojima Productions' first game, and if you all recall the Kojima controversy with Silent Hill and him getting ousted from the company there, and moving on, creating his own production company for video games. And now Death Stranding is that first release. It's got Norman Reedus in there, and just high anticipation for this game. I would say one of the highest of 2019. Number one most discussed PS4 game of 2019 for sure. That's one of the awards that it's gotten on Metacritic. So how did it fare, right? It released earlier this week, and right out the gate, if you look at the Metascore versus the user score, 86 critics have scored an average of 83 or 8.3, right, on this game. And it's interesting, 70% positive, 14% mixed review, and 2 were actually just straight negative on the game. So out of 86, we got an interesting spread, but mostly positive. And looking at some of the gameplay and the reviews, I would say that I would say that this is a game that you could very well be happy with. When you take a look at the negative reviews for Death Stranding, there's only 2 from the critics. But when you get the user base generally either loves or hates something, and it's a good indication of just a quick, how much anger does this game entice, right? So out of 4,000 something user reviews, out of 9,876 ratings, the average user score is a 6.4. So we got an 8.3 from the critics, 6.4 from the users. But why? When you look at the negative ratings, just a bunch of zeros and ones. Monotonous game, trailer sold me, but the game itself, blah, blah, blah. I expected Metal Gear, that's not what I got. Walking simulator, just you get a lot of negative reviews of people who maybe never even played the game. Kind of interesting. Maybe they waited to see it. It's kind of early already to be throwing zeros and ones at a game. But I guess if you've played it enough, you can give it a bad score right out the gate. But again, 36% are saying negative on the user base, and 59, so almost 60% positive. And it's interesting when you look at that versus, say, the critic reviews, because the critics aren't just going to trash a game. They're going to do their best to talk about the good and the bad of every game, because, that's the right way to criticize, I think. So you see more positive than negative there, probably by nature. But then again, also critics are looking for things that maybe a user, just a standard user, isn't always looking at and always looking for. So that's why I like the Partisan Spies reviews. But that all being said, here we are. Game is doing pretty good. I know it's got some patches right out the gate. I know it is specific to PlayStation 4, so that pisses off a lot of people. You probably see some of those negative reviews because of that. But here we are, a weekend, not even a full weekend, getting a pretty solid Metacritic score of 83. And 6.4 from the users. But again, a lot of users who just trash it hard, rather than truly be opinionated. So I'd like to point that out. That's one of the things I hate about these reviews. Next, we're going to talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This is a game that I pre-purchased, and I'm happy I did. This is probably the more Call of Duty-est feeling Call of Duty game I've seen in a long time. And what I mean by that is this goes back to the roots of the game. It feels tight quarters, but you could still pull off some snipes. It feels like camping is annoying and more than annoying than ever, but also plays a strategic point in the game. Out of 7,500 people reviewing this game, 3.2 user score. Why? Well, when you look through the reviews, the user reviews, they trash the game because of its story mode. A lot of people, looks like a targeted attack on the review score, trashing it because of how it depicts Russia in the game, in the single-player campaign. So is the 3.2 a true valuable score to look at this, as compared to, say, the Metacritic score of 81 or 8.1? I don't know. I've played the game. I have not played the single-player campaign yet. I haven't needed to. I like the game for the multiplayer aspect, and I've jumped in and I played the hell out of it. And I'm decent at it. I'm not the best. I'm not the best at any game, but I feel like I can hold my own. I feel like I understand it. There's not a ton of stupid things to unlock and, all that crap, which I really just get annoyed with. So I say, yeah, this is a good one. This is a pickup. This is a good Call of Duty. And, maybe I will get into zombies and maybe I will get into the first-person campaign. But I really hope that the rumors of them coming along with, Battle Royale, I know Dr. Disrespect kind of joked and alluded to it or didn't allude to it, but raised suspicion. I'd like to see it. I like the Battle Royale method of gameplay. I'm not sick of it yet. Some people are. I still enjoy it. So I'm siding more with the Metacritic here, on my own personal opinion. This is definitely an 80s or above Call of Duty game. It is what it is, what you get, but it does feel different than most Call of Duties in the sense of the graphics and everything feel heightened much better, and the mechanics feel a little bit more smooth, in my opinion. I've played it on both PC and PS4. I have it for both. And so, I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say this is a buy. This is a good one. Good Call of Duty. On the other hand, the next game we're going to talk about is WWE 2K20, and holy fuck. I honestly, I was super anticipating this one. As you guys know, I talked about it just a few minutes ago. Todd, my buddies in the WWE, I wanted this game to be awesome. I bought it. I pre-bought it. I bought it for a friend so that we could play together. And holy shit, this game is garbage. When you look at the Metascore of a 45 versus the user score of a 0.9, so under 1, so 4.5 and a 0.9, this game is getting terrible reviews, and rightfully so. I would say that most of these games come feature packed with all different backstages and this and that and blah blah blah. I haven't had the desire to really play this game after spending hours on creating a character, which is the first thing I love to do in any wrestling game. I go in and create characters, and then I want to use those characters. Well, my buddy Alpha and I both went in, and what you see is not what you get. You spend all this time putting out effort to do these things, and that's what these games are about, is the customization and the roster manipulation and the character creation and the careers and all that. You can go jukebox it and just play like a Mortal Kombat and play with the characters that are already part of the game. You're still going to have your issues there as well, but in talking with other players of this game, it's just abysmal. The fact that a game can come out for $60 with the EA and the WWE and the 2K logos on it, and in all versions of the game, it's just broken in so many ways. 7 mixed reviews. I would say there's not a whole lot of positive when comparing this to other WWE 2K games. When comparing this to wrestling games in general, man, everybody I hear online, they just wish the old base THQ style game came back out. Those were the funnest. And I know that things have changed quite a bit in gaming and development and all that. And their goal here, especially with 2K, is to make everything as lifelike and real as possible. But when you take a game, 2K18 looks better than 2K20 graphically. Such a step back. And I know that Ukes was the developer. There was a falling out or whatever. Maybe the contract was up and Ukes pulled out, and Ukes pulled their code, and another company had to come in and rewrite that code, and they did a terrible job. The game is terrible, and I don't recommend it. That even if they fix everything, the game should, we should get our money back, or we should get half off the next one or something. I don't know. It's just such bullshit. But obviously that's not how it works, right? We paid the money, not getting a refund, and it doesn't matter. The game sucks. I hope it gets better. I hope they fix it. But even if they do, I hate the way that these games are trying to make everything so fucking difficult with finishers and pins and submissions. It's just the stupidest stuff. Let me smash A 1,000 times, okay? Having me mess with the joysticks and get them in a perfect angle against the opponent's perfect angle and blah, 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 blah. It's just bullshit. Let me beat the snot out of somebody and let me pin them, okay? Let me pin them because I've beaten them. I'm so sick of the bullshit. Anyways, that is the way it is. Don't buy this game. Look for this game to be on the clearance bin in a month. Outer Worlds. Boom. This game comes right out. I kind of forgot about it over the summer. I know we talked about it once or twice. But man, I'll tell you, this Xbox Plus, whatever, Gold Plus, Game Pass Ultimate, whatever the hell. That is the way to go, because you get not only Gears 5, but you get the Outer Worlds and whatever games come out. It's such a, it's such a great deal. I love the concept of having, a monthly monthly payment plan to play any games you want and having actual decent games come out for it. The Outer Worlds, a lot of people have been anticipating this game for a long time because it's Obsidian Entertainment, the same people who made Fallout, the originals, like New Vegas and stuff, the ones that everyone loved. In watching the game, yeah, it looks almost identical to those types of games. So I have a hard time beating Fallout, but I love playing it. I've played a bunch of them. I've never beaten one. Spent a ton of money on Fallout 4. Never beat it. Well, here you have the Outer Worlds. You get the original team back, or at least the development team, and you get this Western-style role-playing game. It is single player. There is no online multiplayer or anything like that. It's just a story, and the reviews are coming in. It's pretty good, generally favorable on both ends. You got the Metacritic score of 8.2, and you get a user score of 7.6. So I would say that's a buy, or that's a play, or however you want to get it. I recommend getting it through the PlayStation, or the Xbox, just with that deal. There's people, when you go in and look at the reviews, yeah, they're saying it's a very average game, it's this and that, but mediocre game, I'm going to give it a 0. So when you look at their user reviews, you gotta really, really, really be delicate there. I would say that this expectation that every game is going to be a AAA title that's the best thing ever, and don't question it. It should be, just on the scale of 1 to 10, it should always be a 10. No, I'm a data guy. There's definitely a bell curve. There needs to be a bell curve. There needs to be 70s and 60s and 50s in games. There needs to be the height of the bell curve, and then there needs to be the best and the worst, right? And those need to be few and far between. Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. Metacritic score of 92. 9.2. Hundreds and 75s. User score 3.7. Why? All right. What's going on here? Red Dead 2 got crazy reviews. One of the best games ever on console. Just one of the best video games in the history. The PC one was rushed. It was pushed out. I mean, I say rushed. It's kind of silly because it's been out for a while on console. This is why I can't wait for Stadia. Is because of stuff like this. When a game can come out on console, come out on something else months later, and it just be broken and shit, it's scary. Especially when the Metacritic scores are so off the charts. Like, oh, this game's great. Well, what's the break here? Where is this? People are getting crashes and this and that. Like, the people who review the game, did they get single-handed support, first-hand support to fix any issues before, heads up, when you install the game, you got to do this and that, or you must be running this type of software. Possibly, right? Possibly. I know I've never had anyone come to me with that type of criteria to review their game. It's generally just, here's a game, review it. I've never been swayed or asked to provide a positive review. So, maybe it's just that a lot of these people who play games on a regular basis for review purposes are playing with systems that can handle it. Well, here you go. You got tons of people just popping off with zeros and ones saying, I can't even get past the launcher, and bad support. The game is horribly optimized. It's laggy. It's raw. It doesn't run good on a 2060 Ti. 25 frames per second. And they're even talking, people are wondering, I wonder if this is going to have 60 frames per second on Stadia, where they're saying that they have the best hardware ever. We'll see. We're going to know soon enough. It's coming out next week. And we'll be talking about that a little bit on this episode. But yeah, I'll tell you, when I see all the negative reviews, it always raises an eyebrow. But on this one, I've heard nothing but horror stories on the game operating properly. Now, if the game operates properly, meaning you have the system specs to run it and handle it, or you don't really care about all the bugs and stuff, even still, people are saying horrible launch. Rockstar launcher is a 1 out of 10. The game, it's 9 out of 10. Things like that. I guess the launcher sucks. I don't know. I don't have a Rockstar PC game, so I don't have a Rockstar launcher. But holy shit, man. It sucks to see a game with such rave reviews have problems with score because of their install. The score should be based off the game, not the errors unable to get to the game. Right? So fix your shit. All right, Rockstar, fix your shit. Let people play the game. Let them give a proper review. But that's the problem, right? Once the game's released, reviews go live, and you can't really stop it. Now, here's an interesting one. All right, Greedfall on the PlayStation 4. And I'll talk a little bit about this. Actually, I'll just mention it now. You can go on to thebacklogpod.com or thebacklogexposed.com. Both websites are the same. And you can look at our game reviews. And I did a review on Greedfall. I definitely liked it so far. I'm not done. I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna go in and play it. This is one of those ones that I think I will. But the Metacritic score, 7.2. Mixed reviews. No negative, but mostly mid-range. Then you got the user reviews. 87% positive. Why? How? What's going on here? Well, this is from Spider, right? Spider's the developer. And I don't know. Maybe they don't have as much influence over the community. So the community can be a little bit more critical here. Again, I look at everything with a grain of salt. So, the community, if I'm a reviewer, I can't review everything, all fives across the board. I got to throw in some mixed reviews here and there. Well, this is a perfect time to do that on a game like Greedfall, which doesn't have the huge backing of EA or whoever flaunting money around saying, oh, you want access to my games? Well, okay, we're going to pick from the top 50 reviewers or whatever. Greedfall's just a game. I got access to it. I liked it. My review's pretty positive. I'd say I hope that you play it. I like it. I did play it for free on the PlayStation 4. But again, like I said, I plan on beating this one. This is one I'm going back to. I'm gonna play it, and until it's completed. Now I'm gonna try to rush through it because I have a lot of games to play, but I'm gonna do it. You know. So if you go to our website, the Backlog Exposed or the backlogpod.com, up top you'll see blog. Highlight that. You go to game reviews, and if you look, where is it? Where's my Greedfall review? There it is. Yeah, final score. I gave it an 82, which is right in line with that user score. I'm with the users here. Okay, I've been playing RPGs for quite some time. I used to love those games like Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior. That's what I played when I was a kid. I wasn't into sports games or quick games. I wanted the long game, the story. Now there's so many games with so many versions, and the stories are so convoluted. This one's going to take a while. This is a 30 to 60 hour game. So we'll push through, and I'll tell you the final completed version of my feelings on this game. But for now, I say go get it. Go get it. It's decent. All right. This is not priced to blow your pockets. Okay. This is $49.99. It was launched at $49.99. I don't know what it's currently going for now, but I think I've seen it on sale once or twice. So check it out. Why not? Gears 5. Okay, this one comes out again. I talked about that Xbox, whatever it's called, right? The Play Pass. And that's the one where you have a whole bunch of games you can play. Some of the old Xbox games and 360 games or whatever. The Gears 5 it looks good. It plays good. It's getting really good reviews. 84 from Metacritic, 85 or 8.5 from the users. Across the board, I think people are saying generally this is a good one, right? Scares you a little bit if you haven't played Gears 1 through 4. I have not jumped in yet to play Gears 5, but I do have it installed on both my PC and my computer, or on my Xbox. And that's one of the cool things about some of these Xbox games is that you can now install them on your Microsoft computer. So, yeah, cheers to Microsoft for innovating some of that shit. I also got a heads up that I might be involved in a beta test for playing streaming games, streaming your Xbox games, no installs. Huge fan of that. If it can be done, right, without the lag and without all that crap, I really do hope that that's what Xbox starts doing. Fuck it, I'll start buying more Xbox games, I used to play with Jed all the time, but I'll buy, I primarily have this generation been buying PlayStation games, but with this new service from Xbox, it's way better than the PlayStation Now. That service is okay, but it's clunky and slow. Yeah, so I'm all about it. Gears 5, looking to be a decent game, and it's been out for a little while now, so I think it's safe to say that this game is a purchasable game. Looks solid, good reviews. Now, Borderlands 3, another one. We were talking about this for a long time, one of Joe's favorite games. Even Joe said, after playing for a little bit, it's just he's not as enticed to go back in, but he did like it. He did talk highly about it. Metacritic score, 81. User score, 5.2. Why is that? Almost half of all the reviews for this game are negative, all right? We got, out of 2,100 ratings, 980 of them negative. More negative than positive. I think a lot of people were upset. Buggy and doesn't play well. Again, this goes back to the system, right? If it's broken and the game doesn't play very well on the system that they, that you're playing on, they can't control it. Well, guess what? If they can control it, if they know that the Google Stadia app is running off of certain servers and this and that, or NVIDIA GeForce Now, or the EA this and that, Access Pass, all these services are going to be doing the streaming gaming, I'm all about it. Streaming gaming is the way. I've been doing that. I'm a digital guy. If I can just go to a browser and play a game and have that game be as good as if I had that console here, I am about it. All about it. 100%. That's me. That's my style. I play enough games. I think my point is, obviously there's people who want to have the physical copies of things. What if they sell and this and that? I don't do that, right? So if you're not into the selling and you're like me and you just like to play a lot of games and don't like getting up and having to change the fucking disc every time, yeah. Well, not only will you not have to change the disc, you won't have to buy a hard drive, you won't have to wait for loading screens, nothing. This shit is the way the future of video gaming should be. and you won't see reviews like this that talk about how optimization sucks and talks about, like, the game should be able to be played as it was designed by the developer. But bandwidth restrictions and system compatibility restrictions and the devs have to dumb things down. Let them just make them as good as fucking possible. Let them make them unrestricted. That is my selling point to you, the viewers and the listeners, for things like Google Stadia. Think about that. If Google Stadia is running the game, or whatever service you choose, and the developers can develop knowing that they don't have to worry about whether it's on your piss-ass shit computer, or your cell phone, or the PlayStation, or the Xbox, and they can just say, boom, putting it out there. Well, I'll tell you what, the game will not have negative reviews because of install errors and this and that. It's just absolute garbage. I hate seeing it. But then when you look through some of these reviews, a lot of people are just saying it just wasn't as fun. Might as well play Borderlands 2. Boring. Drop the ball. So, boring and repetitive, but rarely when you go back and you play an older Borderlands game, they do have a very similar style. Things have changed since Borderlands came out first, and kids are seeing things differently. The way games have evolved even in just the last 15 years. So it's interesting to see the user score being so low here. But I tell you, I have not dug my hands into Borderlands 3. I was supposed to. It's part of the backlog. All right, just not top of the list. The Untitled Goose game. What is going on here? This one kind of popped out of nowhere. This one's a little silly, a little funny. But yeah, Untitled Goose game. It just cheap game pops out on the Switch, and just a funny one to talk about. I saw it pop up on Twitch. People playing it. And my wife even got it. It's funny. The kids thought it was funny. You're just a bastard of a goose, just going around pissing off people, and the people chase you and stuff. And it's kind of like Goat Simulator, but you're a goose. A lot of fun, a lot of good reviews. Mixed. There's some negatives out there. I don't quite know why. Let's see real quick. But generally, when looking, I don't quite understand the negatives. Really off the top of my head, just a couple of negatives. I don't know. Looks like there might have been some shit deleted, but just the score. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, looks like that's what's going on. I can only see 2 negative reviews. The other ones are still impacting the score. So, there goes my conspiracy bells. Why? This game was just a simple game. Who's freaking out? Who's so upset? That's on PC and Switch. All right. Okay. Here's another one I am going to talk about a little bit. This is NASCAR Heat 4. We got this free game to review. 704 Games released this one back in September, and we did play a little bit of this one, a couple hours worth. And I hate shitting on a game. I hate shitting on a game because it's a genre I don't like. So I will preface this by saying there are racing games I enjoy, right? But I don't enjoy NASCAR racing. I don't enjoy a 500 lap race, personally. That does not mean that people won't. Okay, the graphics are good. Graphics are pretty good. There is a career mode in there, and you can drive lots of laps and focus on your skills here. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. So I don't really have a number to review this because this is not for me. But one of the reasons I like playing these types of games and jumping in and giving it a shot is because when I play some racing games, I love them. And most, I don't. Okay, Wreckfest is a lot of fun. I'll give that one a decent score because I enjoyed it. NASCAR Heat 4, I don't enjoy it. I don't think it's the game's fault, though. I think it's my fault. It's not a game for me, so I don't want to drop it and say, oh, this is a 5.0 or whatever. But if I'm going to rate racing games for racing games, I'd say this is a 6 or a 7 for me. Out of 10, it's up there. It's just not for me. So I don't really want to put my stamp of approval on it, but I think the Metascore of 70 or 7 and a user score of 4.8 is going to tell you that this is a subpar game. Not the best. It's not, when you throw the NASCAR stamp on it. Then you have a game like Need for Speed Heat 4, I think, as well. Like, what's going on here? They're naming the same names and at the same time. So watch out for that. NASCAR, I think that they, this seems like a pass for most NASCAR fans or car racing fans. There's plenty of them out there. All right. The next game I'm going to talk about here is a game that is on my review list, my game reviews, and this is called Devil's Hunt. Devil's Hunt is it's an interesting game. Primarily, it just has the feel of like maybe to me, God of War 3 meets Diablo a little bit. You get a little bit more action, a little bit more fighting than the God of War scene by scene base, but at the same time, you get that third person Diablo-ish. I don't know. People are gonna kill me for saying that, but it's just a third person action game, really action adventure. But it has that feel, that tone of I don't know, an RPG maybe, but mid-tier game. Definitely feels like a mid-tier game. Has some cool little action. The fluentness of the attacks is decent, but it just kind of gets a little old. The repetitiveness of the characters, of the enemies that you fight, the bosses are decent, but it's just like, okay, I'm doing a lot of punching and swinging and punching, but I'm being hit by fucking fireballs. But cool, my right arm is fireball. So I don't know. I feel like it's very limited in some aspects, but a decent start. Could be the start of something. It got very mediocre reviews. 48 Metacritic score and a 5.6 user score. All right. Zelda Link's Awakening on the Switch. Now here we go, guys. This is another one. Any Zelda game, people are going to be freaking out about it. They're going to be looking for all the details, and they're going to want to play it, and they're going to give it a good score regardless. But here's the deal on this one. This is the very cartoony style of Zelda, and it comes to you from Nintendo, released on September 20th, and it's been out for a few months now, and it's maintained high 80s. Okay, 87 Metacritic score, an 8.5 user score. It's definitely cute. It's definitely got the style and feel of, say, original Zelda games. It's it's obvious. It's got that overhead dungeon crawl. It's got the side left to right, like a Mario almost. Even Goombas. I just saw Goombas in the fucking game. But yeah, it's I think this one's a buy if you're into Zelda and you like this style of game. If you like the cartoony Zelda versions of the games, and yeah, pick this one up for the Switch. I don't think you'll be upset about it. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, some games coming out that recently came out for the Switch. I wanted to bring it up. We did the Zelda Link's Awakening, but we also have Witcher 3 and Overwatch. And I just wanted to comment that, it sucks that the Switch feels so old generation in this generation, in my opinion. I know a lot of people who love the Switch will say, screw that, it can do a lot. But yeah, it's supposed to be the next system for Nintendo, but it's definitely subpar when you compare it to the current gen systems. And so the fact that it's just now getting games like Witcher 3, which has been out for years, and Overwatch, which has been out for years, it sucks that this game isn't, that the system itself it takes so long to get the games for it. I wish Nintendo would do something to fix that so that they're right on top and always, just taking in the best of the games and top tier, top graphics and all that. Funny enough, Dreams came out, or is in early access still on the PlayStation, and people are making games like Mario, on the Dreams. They're remaking all sorts of games like Zelda and stuff. So it's, they're doing the Nintendo stuff over in Dreams. Nintendo can spice up their side and maybe do some stuff that would be awe-inspiring and not 5 years old. I know that the Switch has its purpose, but I'd love to see Nintendo try to steal the market back this next generation. But maybe if Nintendo goes fully digital, I'll switch over to them. I doubt it. Some other games that I have reviewed. We got Audio Trip. All right, Audio Trip is on the PC VR, and y'all know I love VR. Holy cow, man! This one it's a trip. Right? It's Audio Trip. It's got 10 songs in the early access, and then it's got an additional 10 songs coming on official launch. Hopefully it makes it that far. I think it will. This game has a solid baseline of Beat Saber, and it's like it's on steroids. So yeah, you basically are grabbing, banging, and smashing or slicing through objects as they come at you to the rhythm of the song. There were a couple of cool songs on there right off the bat. I think it had some Lady Gaga in there. I think it had, I can't think off the top of my head right now, but there's a couple in there. Let me pull up my review. Oh yeah, some Skrillex. So, for $20, early access, yeah, jump right in there. This is worth it. If you've got the PC VR, and your system can play it, yeah, Audio Trip. Definitely grab this one. This one's pretty good. I also reviewed Frostpunk. Now, Frostpunk is a simulation game where you have to fight the cold and you have to save your people and all this and that. You basically have to put yourself in situations to think about all aspects, like a Tropico almost. You got to make people happy across the board, and you got to make your economy go booming, or you're going to lose. You're going to die. And so, or your people are going to die. And since someone's getting you. Ouch. That dog's in trouble. All right. Frostpunk was pretty cool. I definitely recommend that one. It's not, I think it was a lower priced right out the box. And so at $34.99, I mean, it's maybe it would go down in price a little bit, maybe pick it up if you got other games, but if you like these types of strat games, definitely jump on in. City building, survival, it's fun. It's fun. Then you got, we already talked about Devil's Hunt, we talked about Greedfall, Men of War 2 Assault Squad. I'm not even going to really talk about this one. This one sucked. Not personally, for me. Okay, I hate saying that because I know people put time and money and effort into it, but I just did not like it. Another RTS game that did not fit the bill for me. I won't be playing it, and I don't know, just a whole lot of things. The commercial for it, the preview for it did not even resemble the game that I played, and so just not a fan. Another one is Vigor. Vigor is a Battle Royale style game on the Xbox, and it's kind of like a DayZ almost. A DayZ meets Battle Royale, which I thought was a really, really cool concept, considering they are the makers of DayZ. So, launching this one in July 2018 initially. I got a free version of this a couple months ago to play, and I got myself a free starter pack, but that doesn't really enhance the game. I give this one about an 80. Okay, Vigor was fun. It's not as enticing to me as like a Fortnite or a Call of Duty Battle Royale, but it's it's something I'll probably go back in and play a little bit more, and we'll see. But yeah, that's Vigor. Real quick, we got a couple of games coming soon. We got Jedi Fallen Order, which is later this week. We also got Golem 11/19, Pokemon Sword and Shield next week, which I'll be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot about. So if you're into the Pokemon games, let me know what you think of that one, because that's an interesting one. But lastly, we got Google Stadia, which is coming out the end of this week, the 19th, 20th. We're going to be able to start playing it. We're going to be receiving our packages for those of us who are first in, and I can't wait to see what happens with the Google Stadia. I really, really do believe that it's going to be innovative and groundbreaking. I've been playing a lot of different games over these services, streaming services like Google, like NVIDIA GeForce Now, and I like it. Okay, if they can keep the ping low, keep the gameplay fast, and no input lag, well then we got ourselves a winner. So that is it for me. You can catch me on the Backlog podcast weekly. Hopefully weekly, sometimes more than once a week, sometimes less than a week. But for now, you can catch us at thebacklogpod.com. You can also catch me at Backlog Time on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And we'll be putting out more content on our YouTube, hopefully. And you can check us out. We got Babyface in the Heel, and we've got Impromptu with Kevin Earl and Earl coming up at the end of November, potentially December. Stay tuned for more. And don't forget, you can use that Lucid Sound code, 20% off Team EMAR, TEAMEMAR. That's at lucidsound.com. Get you 20% off of any Lucid Sound headset. This has been episode number 74. I am Kevin, and I am out. I'll be back next week to talk about DreamHack and all the fun we had out there. I really look forward to it. So thank you everybody for listening. Till next time, I'm out.